You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Hey, let's go right now to Terrance Woodbury. He is the founding partner for Hit Strategies. He joins us right now in Roland Martin Unfiltered. So, Terrance, here's the deal. It's very interesting. All of these people, oh my God, you know, the polls were wrong. The polls were wrong, and they were showing Biden with this huge lead, and he was supposed to be leading by 5 in Florida, and he was leading by 7 in Pennsylvania, and was leading in Michigan by 12 and 14. He was leading in Wisconsin and all different places. And I kept saying, don't trust white people in these polls.
That's exactly what we're dealing with right now, Roland. You know, one thing that we learned is in 2016 is that Donald Trump has a superpower at surging non-college educated white voters. And he's done it once again. You know, we've seen, we knew going into this on election day that turnout had been higher than than anyone could have imagined. That has a tendency to disrupt polling. And just so I can kind of put folks at ease about polling a little bit, you know, polling is really a prediction, a snapshot of what we expect a certain universe to do. Well, the thing that happened with massive turnout here is that universe looks very different than anyone expected. And frankly, Donald Trump once again surged white people. But another thing happened, Roland, and this is to your point, is that a lot of voters were not that honest with us. This is something I'm struggling with, is that, you know, white millennials and white Gen Z, younger white voters vote a lot more like white people than they do like young people. And that is to say that Donald Trump won almost half of white millennials and white Gen Z. In Georgia, he won 63% of white people under the age of 39. Those are numbers that make it very hard for Democrats to recognize the benefits of diversity shifts.
And that's the thing that I have been trying to explain to people. People go, oh no, but the next generation, they're still white.
That's right. You know, Roland, I've been trying to accept the fact that maybe racism is hereditary. You know, the way that these young folks have participated in this election. I mean, young people who overwhelmingly support, improving or reducing climate change. Young people who overwhelmingly support transparency in government and immigration reform. I mean, these are young people who are on the Democratic side of most issues, and they still voted for Donald Trump. That tells me that tribalism is just as live and just as well in the younger generation as it is in their predecessors.
And that's the thing there, Terrance, that people don't quite understand. And what I mean they don't understand that is that when you factor in, people were thinking, oh, young voters are going to break Joe Biden's way. They are just repulsed by the racism of Donald Trump. No. Whiteness is at play. They're overlooking it. They're excusing it. They're voting according to their peers, to their parents, things along those lines. And so what does that tell you? What it tells you is that, from the Democratic side, the white population is shrinking. Even with these white millennials and white Gen Zers, the population is shrinking. Whites are dying. The white annual death rate in about 10 or 12 states is higher than the annual white birth rate. And so what that means is that if you're Democrats, in order for you to win, what you're going to have to do is accept the reality you're not going to get a majority of white women.
That's right.
Okay? So you need to accept the fact that you're going to get 45, max 47% of white women. The other white women are going to go with the Republican. Okay? You're not going to get white men. So what you have to do is you got to say, here's my percentage of white women, here's my percentage of white men, and I'm going to have to be very aggressive. And aggressive means spending money.
That's right.
Resources on black organizations, Latino organizations, and within black, you got to have targeted messaging for black women, older black women, middle-aged black women, younger black women, not the same message. Black women with college degrees, black women without college degrees, black people in rural parts of the country, black folks who are in cities. Then you got to have a separate targeted, hyper micro targeting message to black men with degree, without degree, blue collar, high school dropouts. You got to go through the whole gamut. And I think the problem has been they've been so used to saying one message for black people, one message for Latinos. I can pop by a couple of barbershops. I can create that sort of conversation. There you go. Nope, not anymore.
That's exactly right, Roland. Look, man, during the summer, we all looked at the what I call like the changing complexion of the protests. You know, there was one time over the summer that I actually declared to the Washington Post that the movement for Black lives had evolved from a movement of black people versus the police to a movement of young people versus racism. And the reason I said that, Roland, is because the majority of protesters were white. 54% of protesters were white. 18% were black. 11% were Latinx. But 85% of protesters were under the age of 39. To me, that represented a generational shift, a generation that was ready to turn the page on racism, as ambitious as that is, you know, but to actually begin the tough process of healing, and that white Gen Z and white millennials would be a part of this healing, as opposed to on the other side of that picket line. And frankly, Roland, we just learned in this election that is just not the way this is shaking out. That when it comes to voting for their interests, they are voting in the interest of white people and not in the interest of young people. Voting in the interest of young people is voting to reduce college debt. It's voting to improve the environment. You know, it's voting it's voting for a more inclusive policy that's more representative of younger generation. You know, millennials are the first minority generation. And I think when we start talking about how demographics are destiny, it's not because of, you know, some large swarm of young white voters are somehow becoming more progressive or swinging to the left, although their policies and their issues suggest that they are. But it means that there's just less of them. You know, it means that the majority of people under the age of 35 are not white. And that demographic can become destiny for Democrats if they lean in there, if they go and activate those black and brown voters that for far too long have been on the political sidelines because they don't feel represented. Not just in the Democratic Party, they don't feel represented in the political system. And that is why Donald Trump was able to exploit that cynicism and exploit that frustration that black men have. And young black voters under the age of 39, also 18% supported Donald Trump. You know, he was able to exploit some real fissures there within the black community that have been expressed through their cynicism towards Democrats. And so you're right, Roland. We got a lot of work to do, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. We're going to have to go in and do some serious soul searching and figure out how do we connect to a group that feels disaffected by the system.
But here's what he also did. He kept lying, and there was so much disinformation that folks were believing it. I had an artist who gave me a call. Dude, I was on the phone with a guy, a producer, for an hour and 11 minutes who threw out every lie to me. And I was like, bruh, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. And so what I kept arguing from a Democratic standpoint, they never properly countered the lies.
That's right.
Here's what people say. Oh, I'm not going to sit here and fight the lies because it's just playing their game. There's a reason why on this show, black conservatives who support Trump hate coming on here, because I won't let them lie. And the reason I won't let them lie is because I cannot allow anybody watching this show who sees a clip on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and they see the lie and it goes unresponded. No, my deal is you got to stop the lie. The moment it's said, I'm like, I'm going to let you finish. But what you just said is a lie, and it's not going to let you get away with it. And they let Donald Trump lie. Criminal justice reform, lie. Obama did nothing. Biden did nothing. I came in. They did nothing. They couldn't get anything done. And at no point the Democrats say, who the hell got it passed in the House? Democrats.
I mean, Roland, you should hear how many black men I sit in focus groups with that tell me that they're supporting Donald Trump because he did criminal justice reform or because he got black folks out of jail. Donald Trump pardoned exactly 8 black people. 8. The Obama-Biden administration pardoned 200 times more black people than that. I mean, this is just, we never corrected the record, Roland. And frankly, when you allow those seeds to be planted, those seeds of doubt and those lies are being planted on fertile ground of a lot of brothers who already feel cynical towards the system, right? And so when we let that fester and marinate, the work that we have to go back and do now to unprogram those lies is so much harder than the work that we can do if we just come in early and deliver a message that resonates to them. So I mean, Roland, we got some work to do here, man. And I am not going to allow, the progressive left. I mean, the way that they are already beginning to question how could black men support an open racist. Well, I've been telling y'all for 6 months how they could do it.
Hold on. First of all, here's the whole deal. Let's just be real clear. To facts to laid out. The 2 groups that voted at the highest percent against Trump.
That's right.
Black women, black men.
That's right.
Everybody who's watching, okay?
Wait, let's be very clear.
Go ahead.
The only reason since Election Day, the only reason that Donald Trump has been rejected the White House is because of Atlanta and Philly and Milwaukee and Detroit. They are counting black votes right now. It is a resounding rejection of black voters who 90% have disapproved of Donald Trump since the day he was elected. I mean, I've been calling it the black clapback. Black folks clapped back, and with a resounding rejection, they have denied him a second term. Black folks have to get credit for that. Black folks have to get credit for ensuring that he got the nomination, and now have to get credit for ensuring that he won that Oval Office. And when I say get credit, Roland, I'm talking about the first 100-day agenda. I want to see what they're going to do now to deliver on the investment that black folks have made into this administration.
Well, but see, on that particular point there, and we're going to get to a little bit later, which is why I keep explaining to people why we got to go hard on the 2 runoff races in Georgia. Because it's very simple, and I'll unpack it later. But again, that's going to be critical in terms of for that agenda. What from an exit polling, is there anything else that we need to know and understand about African Americans that the exit polling data revealed?
I mean, it's what we just talked about. But black voters were overwhelmingly motivated in this election to remove Donald Trump. That was the overwhelming motivating factor. But another thing that we found that is, 89% of black voters were also enthusiastic and excited to make history by voting for Kamala Harris. This election, man. I mean, I am concerned about what to expect over the next 24 to 72 hours. I am concerned about how Donald Trump can sow these seeds of doubt and question the integrity of our election. Because look, man, I've told you this before. I still hear about hanging dimple chads in Florida from the Bush-Gore election from 20 years ago, from voters that weren't even alive during hanging dimple chads. What he can do, the doubt that he can sow over the next couple of days of saying that all of this was fraud and your votes aren't getting counted and there's ballots in the damn river, this damage is irreparable. It takes years to undo, sometimes generations to undo this. So we got a lot of black folks engaged and surged to send a message, not just to Donald Trump, but to Trumpism, to racism, not on our watch. That surge was led primarily by black seniors who turned out in overwhelming numbers. Black seniors got a bit more of an intimate relationship with racism than some of these young black folks that chose to vote for Donald Trump. They hear those dog whistles and are reminded of things that they've seen and things that they've heard from their past. And so black seniors really, really clapped back here. But overwhelmingly, it was the black community that rejected Donald Trump a second term, and that was excited to make history here. And I think both of those things are going to have to produce some returns for the Black community.
Well, first of all, I'm just sitting there cracking up laughing, looking at all the racist trolls who are on my YouTube channel, and they're whining and complaining. And I always, when they start bringing up the 1994 crime bill, because here's what's interesting. They act as if in subsequent years there were also not legislative fixes when it came to that. One of the first bills Obama signed was a criminal justice reform bill. One of the first bills he actually signed. But
like you said, Roland, this is a part of not correcting the record. You know, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had to take on the responsibility of getting out here and telling people what they have done to correct the criminal justice system, and they both have. They both have records that they could talk about. Instead, they kind of, I guess, hope folks like you carry that water for them.
And again, it's idiotic because they're the ones who are getting attacked because of the record. One of the things that it was very interesting to me, before I came in, I was watching Nicole Wallace. The TV was on. I had taken a nap, and it was on. And they were talking about, well, I think we may have missed some things here that a lot of people people want to get back to normal with coronavirus, and they were going through this whole deal, and I was like, what the hell are y'all talking about? No, here's what happened. Donald Trump sowed seeds of discontent. He took the whole fake news thing. Kellyanne Conway took the whole alternative facts thing.
That's right.
And what they did was they said, don't believe anything. And all of these people, I think people got to understand, Republican voters, Donald Trump voters, are in a cult. He told them, don't mail in votes. They didn't.
That's right.
They showed up on election day. And so it's no shock to me that they would have a different view and believed his lies about the coronavirus, that we're rounding the corner. And so they're saying, but this should have been a blowout because of coronavirus. He convinced half of the people it wasn't no big deal. They act like these people who were going to rallies with no mask on and who were saying, well, if I die, I die, just somehow were just the crazies. No, it was a lot of Republicans who were doing it. So if you sow seeds of discontent for almost 4 years, guess what? They're not going to believe an alternative view, which means you were never going to have some big Biden blowout.
That's right. That's exactly right, man. I mean, look, I think that the difference and the proposition between Joe Biden and Donald Trump could not have been more clear. And half of America wanted to continue the reckless neglect that we've experienced in the last 4 years. I mean, half of the country wants to reject that systemic racism even exists. Half of the country wants to continue rampant corruption in the White House. I mean, this man was impeached, Roland. This man was impeached, and half of the country is still embracing him. The fact that racism can become a partisan issue in 2020, as partisan as it exists or it doesn't, and half of the country is willing to endorse and support and embrace that racism does not even exist in America. I mean, we have to confront not just defeating Donald Trump, but we're going to have to confront Trumpism and what he has amplified.
And Trump is and actually we got to stop saying Trumpism. That's Republican Party. No, it's not an individual. They have fully embraced his overt bigotry, his overt nastiness with Muslims, with so many others. No, this ain't Trump. And Biden got to stop that crap. This is the party. They ain't changing. What they've witnessed is, we can do this and it's not going to hurt us.
We could just say it out loud.
Yep.
Because they've been doing it, brother. I mean, this is, I see a Biden victory on the horizon, and I still feel very despondent. I'm still very, very concerned about the future of this country. One, because, we still have to deal with the half of the country that is going to deny the reality of this election. And two, it's because we still have to deal with Donald Trump. He's not disappearing on January 20th. And so he still has these Twitter fingers that can create havoc and dissension and division. I mean, I'm very concerned about this country, but I'll tell you this, Roland, I'm very likely moving to Georgia if it means denying Mitch McConnell that goddamn gavel in the Senate.
Oh, well, first of all, I've already been, we're already making plans to spend lots of time in Georgia in November and December for the January 5th race, so that's going to happen. Terrance Woodbury, we really appreciate it, man. Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
folks, back to that
Thank you so much,
Roland Martin
Roland.
video
Have to come
just
anytime.
one moment.
All right, the folks at Ceek.com, black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Ceek.com, CEEK.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Ceek.com using this promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Ceek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right.